Hello, my name is Dr. Perry Meyer, and I am the medical director of the Meyer Institute, a center of excellence dedicated to the treatment of the diabetic foot. And although we have been recounting our now fifth week of operating the wound clinic under the cloud of COVID, I kind of want to move off of talking about COVID so much and talk a little bit more about wound care, because it is what we do, and we generally operate under duress because we are seeing people who are very ill and with quite serious acute problems, and so we're kind of accustomed to operating under pressure. So I think that the opportunity to educate our patients about preventative measures to prevent the spread of COVID is great, and we are doing it on every single occasion that we see our patients, ensuring that they have fresh information, reinforced information, and they have the ability to ask a question that we can give a mildly intelligent answer for, in place of getting information from their own family physicians if they can get a hold of them. And so from that perspective, our efforts here are very rewarding. We get a good sense that the patients there's good uptake there. We are very appreciative of all of the support that we're getting from the community to help us manage the practice and do the things that we want them to do when they come here, but also by supplying us with some personal protective equipment. We got these 3D printed face shields, and these were printed up by a high school student whose name is Christopher Lamont. I think he's in grade 9, but he's super smart. He is the real deal, and he's an up-and-comer. He's a rising star that we should watch out for. In 4 years, he'll be in university. He's going to be dangerous in university, but he is very generous in providing us with face shields, which are very hard to come by. 3D printed frame, uses a piece of clear plastic from a divider in a notebook, plastic dividers and those things. And then he has the strap feeds through here. It's elastic band, and this business right here acts as the cushion on your forehead, so it doesn't hurt so much. It doesn't press into your forehead and holds it off. It's super cool. These masks came in from a couple of our patients, a husband and wife team, and they're all very nice, different patterns, and just like that. And then they even printed up all these instructions, very detailed. Wash them, put them in a bag, whatever. So it's all really fantastic. We are giving these out to patients that need them. We can't give out our own, but we don't have enough. But we are giving out these to select people that really we feel are in need, and we will do that as we get more masks. This is of course the classic face mask from Saigon, which everyone wears them over there. They're super hot and thick. They're less like wearing a piece of upholstery over your face. Nevertheless, they're very handy and fashionable. So that's it for COVID for the moment. COVID, it's at least plateauing, and we have probably dodged some of the bullet. Not to let our guard down yet, but we have done, I think, a very good job of being disciplined. So we should all congratulate ourselves, give ourselves a collective pat on the back, because that was a hard job. And just have to compare it to places like New York City, which was a disaster zone. And we wouldn't have wanted to wish that on any of our frontline workers, and nor our patients. I wanted to talk a little bit about wound care, and I think that wound care has suffered greatly in this COVID climate, and primarily because people have felt that their immediate medical needs are not as important as quarantining and avoiding this virus. So this is a very powerful message, that fair play, that everyone bought into it, but that now it needs to start to turn a little bit. And I think that's where we have to start shaping people's minds about what they need to do when they are ill. Particularly with our diabetic wound patients, not only are they abandoning the care of their wounds as far as going to appointments, but they are also starting to let their guard down when it comes to glycemic control. So you have it's a double-edged sword where you are falling away from the ideal spot very quickly in an environment where you can't get help. And so this is a dangerous situation. The hospitals themselves are relatively empty. The census has never been lower. In anticipation, they are preparing for that potential onslaught of patients. However, that's not to say that sick people in the community shouldn't come into the hospital. So I think that this is a message that we have to start delivering carefully so that we don't overwhelm the emergency rooms with non-emergent problems. But the people who are having heart attacks and are hanging by the house because they're afraid to go to the hospital need to have their minds changed. And I think that's our next step in this sort of wound continuum under this COVID cloud, is to re-educate patients about what is really happening. And I think that if we don't do that, we have left a big hole for disaster. We are going to see a third and fourth wave of after effects of this quarantine time, whereby we'll see an emergence of wounds, in my case, wounds that are much worse than they were before. And on top of that, we'll have the added psychological burden of post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, anxiety, suicide, etc. I think we have to make a preemptive move right now to try to get people's minds changed. And certainly in the wound world, depression is always, it's high up there on the side effects of having a wound and trying to deal with it. These chronic illnesses really drain our patients of their emotions and their stamina. So I think this is an important time right now to start to try to change the messaging slightly, to not say it's full steam ahead and we're no problem, but to say we've done a good job. We still need to mask up. We still need to use a lot of hand sanitization, and we still need to do social distancing, but we may be able to get out into the parks. We may be able to go out into the golf courses, as they say today, as they said today. So there's a lot to do right now that I think is really important. My name is Dr. Perry Meyer, and I am the medical director of the Meyer Institute, a center of excellence dedicated to the treatment of the diabetic foot. And I wish you all a very, very happy May Day. I think that I am going to have a different attitude on Monday. I'm going to try to be positive, and I'm going to try to change people's minds about how they can use this opportunity to make themselves better physically, medically, emotionally, psychologically. We need a bit more love in our lives. This is a good time to start to show it. Until next time.